So that was one of the questions I got recently about painting competitions and paint judging because I've talked about this in another video that was style paint competition or not for everybody, which turned out to be a little bit more popular than I expected to begin with, and I got a couple of questions in private about how does paint judging work and how painting competitions handle. So let me give you a little kind of pull back the curtain behind these painting competitions. And the thing, so first of all, it's really important to break down like painting competition from tournaments best painted because they don't really work the same. A lot of things are similar, but a lot of things are completely different. So we're just talking about like real painting competition, like Golden Demon, the Crystal Brush, the Capital Palette. I think I don't remember what the Nova one's called, but whatever. They're actual painting competition versus just getting the best painted from a tournament, which is a whole other thing. The thing about paint judging is you have to first of all you have to take your own bias off of all of this. Like art is subjective, but at some point it's not, and that's one thing that's like really hard to kind of grasp is like you like what you do and they like what they do, but at some point something is just better. Some things are just better than others, and that's where it's kind of hard to grasp sometimes. And painting competition and painting models for gameplay to a high standard is like two different things, and they should be regarded as such. And that's one thing I talked about in the other video. It's like a lot of people they just say, oh, this is the best painted model in my army, so I'll enter it in this competition. But it's like you're like step 1 out of 10, stage 1 out of 10. And that's where I think a lot of people like kind of fall short, is that they compare literally apples to oranges. Sorry, I butchered it even more the second time around. Where you kind of have to figure out that like a competition piece is a competition piece, and it's not really a gaming piece. So that's really the first thing, and then the second thing is I always talk about this is the details. Like at some point you're gonna reach this stage in the competition where the top 3 or top 5 pieces are really obvious, or even if it's just the first place in each category, and then determine an overall winner, and that becomes like really tricky because you get to compare something like this big keeper of secret to a tank to a unit of goblin to a skink character, and then like how do you compare like this guy and a unit of 20 goblins on standards and whatnot. Or one year there was like an imperial knight and a goblin in the same category because of open category. Like how, and when it comes to really really high hand, what matters is the mistakes, because at some point like you have to acknowledge that these pieces are completely amazing. Okay, like piece A is amazing, piece B is amazing. So now you go looking at flaws into it, and then you nitpick like you would never do that outside of paint judging, but you nitpick the fuck out of this. Here I can see a brushstroke when there's no cleaner one. Elsewhere there's this just was it like there's like a little bump in the side of the base, like all these little detail, or the belt is not highlighted properly. This scroll has no like writing on it. All of the little thing, and it's just like a matter of like mistakes, and it's really painful to get there. But at some point it gets to that stage, and that's why like gaming pieces, even the high-end gaming pieces, they fall short. It's because they never reach that part of like we're gonna critique it and we're gonna pinpoint details. It's because it's gonna have a lot of details because it was never meant to be perfect on all aspects. Like the pouch has to be perfect, the gem has to be perfect, the little rope has to be perfect, every single step of the way, which you don't really do when you paint models. Even if this keeper of secret, which is the centerpiece of a Slaanesh army, if it's a gaming piece, it's gonna have some slight mistake. Just keeping the base and then not building the base to fit my army versus creating like a unique base for this thing. it's slightly different. So then you get to judge every single mistake. So a good thing to kind of try to get to that, from that high tabletop to the competition level, right? Like I'm in this Facebook group called Rate My Paint, and a lot of the time, like category 2 and 3, is there's like a big step up between the high tabletop and the competition, but that's just because competition is this much more complex, where if you want to transition this model from like a tabletop model to something even higher, you'd have to go like start from one surface and then push it to the max. Like, so let's start with the little cloak in the back here, little robe thingy, and then you just work on that until it's perfect, and then you work on the skin, and then you make the skin perfect, and then you know work on the air, and then so piece by piece, and then you just push until every single aspect of this was like completely flawless, or as flawless as you can make it now. And then you go to a competition, and then you look at your piece, and then you try to compare it with something kind of similar, or something that places better than you, and then you go, okay, well, this and this is better than his, and then it kind of goes from there. But paint judging is really, to some extent, about the mistakes, which is something that you would never critique otherwise. But in regards to painting and to judging and differentiating between all of these, these models are all 99 out of 100, but which 99 is the best 99? Well, this one has this mistake, and this one only has 4, so we'll put the 4 first, and so on. So that's why it's kind of a tricky thing. Whereas army painting is usually a lot more about the overall feel, except the nitpicking of every single small detail in every single army.